Good day, tennis fans. I'm Ted LePak, and today I've got James Waterson with me. And we will be discussing today on Point and Counterpoint the Australian Open and who we think will win it. James, who do you think will win the Australian Open on the men's side?
Well, I think Ted that we have to favor the top four players because just with the way that they played last year, how frequently they got to the finals and the semifinals. But honestly, it's hard to go against Novak Djokovic. The guy has a
Mm.
proven record. He seems to have recovered from his physical issues. He rolled through everybody in Abu Dhabi. I think that based on how he plays in Australia, especially because he's won two Grand Slam titles there of his four, I think that he's the guy to beat.
I think he's going to be upset in Australia, and here's why. I think Federer is going to take it all. I think Federer is going to come in. He had a little bit of a shoulder tweak last week, but I think he's going to take it this next upcoming week. He's going to come in hot. He's going to really fly off the bat. And if he gets far enough, if he makes it all the way to the finals without, Nadal coming in or sweeping in, I think he wins the whole thing, regardless of if Djokovic is in it or not.
Well, and the thing is that I happen to be a Federer fan myself. I think he's a great player. I think that it's a little beyond him, especially right now, because it was a back injury that he had to deal with. He had back spasms in Doha, which is why he had to withdraw, and that was a couple of weeks ago. But the thing you have to look at, Ted, is his record against the top two players recently. He won. He lost to Djokovic in all but one of his matches last year, and he has a very poor record against Nadal. He's just breaking even on hard courts, where if you look at it just on paper, he should be favored. So if he meets any of those two guys, which it's very likely considering how both of them have played at the Slams within the last couple of years, then he will have a very difficult time winning the Australian Open.
Well, we still don't have those ranking or those draws out yet, so we don't know who's going to play who. But I'm thinking he could still definitely compete at least against Djokovic, and I think if he one-on-ones Djokovic, he's going to win Djokovic. Nadal, I still think will give him problems, but I think he can still pull it out. I think he's got a lot of momentum going in, and I think he'll do well. What's your take on the women's side?
Well, I think that it's awfully hard to argue against Serena Williams. I mean, here's the thing with the women's tournament is that it's so incredibly wide open right now. We could see,
Oh, very. Yeah.
yeah, we could see a new winner just like we saw three times last year. We could see somebody like a Samantha Stosur come along, and although she doesn't ever really play well in Australia, she could do well enough this time around. She could put herself in the right position, and who knows? Kind of like what happened in the U.S. Open final against Serena Williams. But speaking of Serena, I always get the feeling that before any sort of Grand Slam tournament, if she's around, if she's playing, even if she might be dealing with an injury or two, she's shown in the past that she can come in and just completely dominate and win the tournament.
But an injury or two, she's had three severe injuries lately. She's had that thing on her lung. I don't know exactly what it was, but she had something to do with her lung problems. She had a very severely rolled ankle, and she's just full of injuries lately, I think.
Well, I think that the rolled ankle can happen to anybody.
Well, yeah.
And the thing is that for anybody who's had a sprained ankle, they know that if they apply the rice roll and take it easy for a couple of days, then they can certainly get over it. And she's been practicing in Australia, so she's going to be ready for this tournament. The thing is that looking at, for example, how she played in the U.S. Open, when she actually did have some match practice, because when she played at Wimbledon, that was the first time she'd played in months, and she still managed to advance a couple of rounds into the tournament. In the U.S. Open, she beat top players like, for example, Caroline Wozniacki in the semifinals. She outplayed her completely, and Wozniacki's number one player in the world. So that's why I think that Serena can come in and if she's focused, which she will be, she can take this title.
Okay, valid points, but I think Kvitova's going to come in and take it. Kvitova's got three things. She's got her wicked, nasty left-handed serve. She can play you from the baseline, and she can dominate you at the net. I think all of those are ways that she will come in hot, stream straight all the way to the top, and win the whole thing. That's what I think.
Well, and just like anybody else in the tournament, she could do that. But the problem with Kvitova is that she's a very streaky player. She's shown time and again, even in the matches that she's won, she can blitz her way through the first set, and she can have a lead in the second set, kind of like against Li Na in Sydney yesterday. And she can come in, and then she loses her concentration, she starts missing, and the match could just turn around on her. Now
Okay.
the difference between how she used to play and how she played last year when she won in Wimbledon is that she managed those times where she lost her concentration well, and she played through them. But she's out of any of the other players because they're more consistent, like the Wozniackis and so on. I think that she's just as likely to lose the tournament, like lose early in the tournament, as she is to win the whole thing.
Touche. She is streaky, but she did have that pitfall against Lee yesterday. But that's going to be coming in. She's going to be coming in a little cold, but I think she will overcome that, persist, and win. That's my point. Do you have anything to counter that? You don't think you can? Okay.
Well, I think that we are likely just as likely to see somebody come out of nowhere. And I mean, there are some young players on the WTA tour that could make an impact as well. I'm not saying that they're going to win the tournament, but the fact that we had such an unpredictable year last year, and Kim Clijsters, the defending champion, is dealing with a hip injury, and she might not even play. Venus Williams is out. Some of the other players in the top 20 are carrying injuries, like for example Sabine Lisicki.
Mm-hmm.
So the tournament is wide open already. Andrea Petkovic has a back injury, a stress fracture in her back, so she's not even playing in the tournament. And she's a world number 10. So all these injuries are making this tournament more open, more likely that somebody like Serena can come in and win the whole thing. And of anybody, I think that she has the experience, she has the ability to completely control the match, and she's done it before. So I think that you have to really think about her as one of the favorites.
Well, certainly an interesting discussion today on Point Counterpoint. James, thanks for joining me.
It was great.
And we'd like to hear from you guys as well. If you could post your comments in the comment section below, and we'll see you next time.